How would you like to position yourself as the expert, which results in selling your products and your services? Well, you can do that with podcasting. And podcasting would allow you to tap into thousands of podcast listeners who are hungry for your content, which can ultimately sell your products and your services. But if you know about podcasting, you can really tap into places like iTunes and other places that can get you a lot of traffic. Now, with podcasting, it is a little bit technical, so I can understand that most people don't want to get into it because of that reason. So if you don't know where to start, what software tools to use, or even how to use them, what microphone equipment to use, or even how to do it, then don't worry, because that's what we're going to talk about in this specific video series. So this is an 11-part video series. Step by step, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. And in video number 1 is the introduction to podcast marketing. So the whole idea is to get you into the mindset of understanding how to use podcast to generate not only traffic back to your website or for your company, but also to brand yourself as the expert. So in that specific video, we're going to give you a quick overview, how it all works, and things you need to get started, like the software tools you need. And we're going to stick with a lot of free tools. I'm going to show you exactly microphones that you can use to create high quality audio and things like that. And then of course, video number 2, we're going to talk about what's in a podcast. So basically what you want to do before you create a podcast is to plan the podcast. So you want to plan your podcast environment, which what I mean by that is how you're going to make the listener feel when they hear your podcast. And how are you going to plan it? How are you going to sell through it? How are you going to use it as a platform to sell your products? To sell or not to sell, which is the answer, and how you can go about doing this. And that brings us to video number 3, which is writing an intro and an outro script. Now, an intro is basically the introduction of your podcast. So you could do it yourself or you can get somebody else to do it. Now, I highly recommend that you actually get somebody to do it because, as you know, when somebody introduces you, it's a lot more powerful than you introducing yourself. So the intro is mainly to position yourself as the expert and to get somebody to do it. And I'll show you how to get a professional voiceover artist to do that, how to write it. I'm going to show you exactly the script that you can use for the intro so that you can simply copy and paste and fill it in. And you really don't have to think as to how you can create it. So instead of going into the dark and not knowing how to write the script, you simply can copy and paste it as I show you step by step. And the outro, and the purpose of that is to basically get people into taking a call to action. Telling somebody to do something like share my podcast if you enjoyed it, go visit my site, or taking a specific call to action. And I'm going to show you exactly what to write so you don't have to think. And I'm also going to show you how to get somebody into a certain mood because, as you know, different podcasts are different. Some are fun, some are serious, and things like that. And we'll talk about soundtracks and where to get them. Video number 4 is hiring a voiceover artist for your intro and outro. There are certain places that we have used that are particularly high quality and low priced. So you'll actually save a lot of money just by watching this video series. Video number 5 is microphone and software editing tools. We're going to use a specific microphone, and I'm going to show you the exact microphone that I'm using and the software editing tools. In fact, the software editing tools that I'm going to show you is actually free, so you don't have to dish out anything else. Video number 6 is about recording your podcasts and how to create soundproof environments even if you don't have a lot of money to spend. Or let's say, for example, that you are in a location in an apartment that's really, really noisy, you have a really noisy neighbor, and you really can't create a soundproof environment. I'm going to show you some practical ways, which you probably already have access to, in how to do that. And video number 7, we're going to talk about how to edit your main podcast yourself and how to add the intro, how to add the outro, and how to add the soundtracks so that you can create a professional sounding podcast. And of course, video number 8 is podcasting hosting and sites to use. Now, it's the easiest way by going to find sites that will host your podcasts, and then you can generate the RSS feed, which then you can, of course, submit to iTunes. But before you can submit it to iTunes, you have to generate that RSS feed, which we'll talk about in video number 10, and we'll submit it in video number 11. So once you submit your podcast to iTunes and get it approved, you can bet that you'll start getting some traffic to your podcast. So you want to make sure that you plan your podcast correctly and do it in such a manner that you not only brand yourself in a positive manner, but you also get traffic back to your site. So that's why you don't want to just jump on and create podcast after podcast without a good plan, which we'll talk about in this specific video series. So if you want to get started, grab this video course now. And you can watch over my shoulder as I show you how to do this step by step.